Okay, this is Jacob Schmidt with DeerHuntingSchool.com. I'm just sitting here looking at a property. Commenter asked me to just kind of look over and give some ideas on. So here we go. First of all, as you can see here, this property is surrounded by lots of agricultural area. Lots of agricultural area you can see around the edges of it. There's lots of agricultural area. So during the summer, the deer have lots of food, through the spring and summer and what have you. Now, one thing I do want to mention about this area, it is very far north. So severe winters will take a toll on the deer. Okay, that is for sure. This is very far north where they have very severe cold weather, things like that. So as you keep that in mind, this and another thing, this is a wetland. I would imagine is probably breeding ground for no telling how many ducks that are hunted in my home state. And that's just the truth there, because this is some serious wetland. It's a very good looking area because it's got a lot of agriculture area around it. Good for deer in the summer and spring and things, and it's really the only wooded area. It looks mostly like it's just pretty much a big huge swamp. So the deer have some areas they can go. Now, given that, in my home state, I've seen deer stay in the swamp, actually in the water and stuff, during the day, and then they come out at night. Now, I don't think that would be the case here, especially in the winter. They may do it in the early part of the fall, like beginning of bow season or whatever, like October 1st. They may actually be out in this water, but I would imagine once it starts really getting seriously cold, they're going to be looking for areas that they can get warm. Now, this is pretty well flat land, so it should have some pretty good winds. So first thing I'm going to do when I come in and scout this area is I'm going to be looking for some thick areas, see any type of cedar trees, things like that they're really, really thick, where the deer can get and have cover from the wind, because on some seriously cold, windy days, these deer are going to find areas that is thick where they can get some relief from the wind. Like in this area here, looks to me like it could be thick. These are mostly short trees, but it looks like this could be really thick where they may be able to find some areas, some relief from the wind and things like that, because it's going to get severely cold. I'm going to look for stuff like that. I'm going to look any areas where there's any type of funneling, especially early, where there's any type of funneling. I don't see much here. I think this corner was cut off of the property line, this little corner here. The areas that I do see that there's going to be a possible little bit of funneling, here you've got a little bit of a funnel coming through here, leading back out into here. You've got a little bit of funnel here. Okay, we're going to draw this out on a map in just a second. I'm going to look for any of that, any type of funneling coming out of these crop fields. You've got a little bit of funneling right here on the edge of this old road. This area here could be a little bit of a funneling as the deer come back and forth across. This area here is probably the best looking funnel, one of the best looking funnels that could probably be hunted. Let me measure that. I always like the Google Earth. I love Google Earth because you can measure out these funnels. Okay, these areas, that's 145 yards here across, 135 yards. So if you with a bow, I mean, you can't shoot off the whole funnel, but if you come in here and you look and you can find where most of the deer are coming. You can set up on the areas like that there. That's going to be key things I'm looking for. And then, of course, food. I think this area is going to have quite a bit of food in the spring and fall. I mean, yeah, in the beginning of the season. I don't think you're going to have a problem. Deer are not going to be competing for food. They're going to have gob loads of food. The area is really thick undergrowth. The whole area is. It's a swamp. So the deer is going to have a lot of food. But areas I'm going to look for are areas when you've got snow and stuff on the ground. And this type of area, guys, is really an area after you hunt it for quite a while, you're going to be able to know areas where deer go, like I had mentioned earlier, for some really thick cover from the wind, the brutal cold, because it's going to get brutally cold here, guys. This is so far north, it is going to get brutally cold at times, and the wind is going to be howling, and the deer are going to look for ways to get out of that brutal cold because it's going to blow on them. This area, I do not put it past some really monstrous deer. Probably, I'm from the south, used to a lot of deer. This area here, I wouldn't expect a whole lot of deer like we have down in where I'm from, which is Arkansas. We have gobloads of deer. This area, I would expect to see a lot fewer deer, but when you see deer, I would expect to see some really monstrous deer with all these agriculture areas. Now you've got hunting pressure on this, so I've got a course that talks about hunting pressure deer and finding them and things like that. So that, you know, if you have an area like this that you're hunting, you may want to, you know, check out that course. And so that course, we're going to take this area. We're going to take this. I'm going to draw a few things out on it here and just show you some key points. So I'm going to take a picture of this. We're going to go to the paintbrush, and I'm going to draw some things out so that you can see what I'm looking at. I do believe this is a very good area to kill some really big deer. So stick with me here, and let's go look at these drawings I'm going to draw out. Here we go. I'm just going to draw out some things here. The first thing we had talked about was any type of funnels. This is a small type of a funnel. This is a type of a funneling area where the deer would be crossing. Same with, I'm not exactly sure of the property boundary on this map. I didn't want to just pull up the property boundary and just totally give it away to everybody that sees it on YouTube. Which property it is. I'm sure some people may recognize it, but you may have a little bit of a funneling here. Now there is a road there, but these deer could funnel down the edge of that road. But the other things that I'm looking for here real quick, I'm looking for areas that are thick, and there's quite a few areas up in here that look like, now I'm not talking about thick like a thicket, like I talk about on a lot of my videos. I'm talking about thick, where the deer may be able to get away from some wind and some cold. Looks like possibly here, like maybe some cedar trees or some very thick, something that'll block the wind. These deer are going to look for wind barriers in areas like this. It gets super cold, super brutally cold at times. They're going to look for areas of windbreaks. Now, I'm circling these. I'm not 100% sure on that. But as I begin to walk this, that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to look for areas that windbreaks, okay, for brutally cold. I'm going to look for areas of windbreaks where deer can get away from the wind, okay. I'm going to look for funnels, which is the yellow. Okay, so we got funnels. We'll look for funnels. I'm going to look for high spots in the ground. If we have if you have a lot of water, a lot of rain, a lot of snow, and it really fills this up with water, I'm going to look for high spots where the deer can get away from the water. So I'm looking for high spots, okay, where the deer can get away from the water. I'm going to look, we already mentioned the funnels, okay. Now one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to walk these, let me change size here so it's not as, now I know this is a trail that goes down through there. It's probably well used, but there's a trail here. Okay, I want to walk that and look for deer trails. I really want, now one other thing I didn't mention that could be used for funneling could be these little rows that they've cut up through here. I'm not exactly sure what this is. I don't know if this is some type of waterfowl management program, or if this is some type of agriculture that they're putting in to keep these deer from starving to death in the winter, keep the wildlife from starving to death in the winter. I'm not sure exactly what this is, but this area here is what I'm talking about. I'm not exactly sure what that is. It looks like there's some type of it looks like a crop, but there is some type of funneling you could use possibly in there. As the center of these rows, these deer may use them as funnels. There's several of them. Wind breaks. These deer, as they're feeding and things, especially when it's cold, if you've got a brutal north wind, okay, brutal north wind, okay, or any type of wind here, really, I think it's going to be pretty cold. But if you have brutal wind, okay, wherever the wind is coming from, if it's very cold, the deer are going to tend to feed. Okay, you see these rows of trees here. You probably could have seen it better on the other map. You see here, you have to really look, but there's rows of trees. They may be small trees, but these rows of trees, like that. There's areas here, okay, here, here, here. There's several of them down through here, okay. Several of them. There's a little small patch here. Okay. The thing is in this brutal wind, as these deer are feeding and things. Now, depending on the water and what food and stuff is here. But what I'm saying is, if the deer are feeding and you have a brutal wind out of whichever direction and it's cold, these deer are going to get naturally want to feed. Say if you have a north wind, okay, these deer will want to feed right behind these wind breaks. It's going to cover as a wind break. Okay, so if you could set up somehow, knowing that wherever your most dominant wind is when it's cold, you'll know because this is your area. So wherever it is, and this is far north now, these deer are going to get behind some type of a windbreak naturally, and they'll feed. Okay, so knowing that, you could set up a stand locations. If you have say if it's a north wind, and here you don't want to set up here, you don't want to set up where they can smell you. You could always set up, like here off an angle where your scent is going down this way, and then you're actually hunting deer off this windbreak. I'm just using this for example. These are just things you need to look for. You need to walk. I would definitely get in here. It may be wet now, I don't know, but this type of area is an area that as you hunt it for years, okay, the more years you hunt it, the better. Okay, as you hunt it for years, you're going to get an idea. Okay, these deer like to feed behind this windbreak here. This windbreak here, they like to get right behind that and feed right on the edge of it. Okay, and they pile up right in this area as the wind's coming from this direction. Things like that. You're going to say, okay, I get rub lines. There's rub lines down through here as the deer come into rut. There's rub lines in this area. There's rub lines in this area. You're going to get things like that, and you can keep a little log book. Take you a picture like this, snap a picture somewhere, print it out on your computer, and you can actually draw on it and you can mark these things down. That way you can use this for years, this information for years, okay? But one thing I want to do, just to get you started, I want to get down here and walk these here. I want to walk, I want to get down and walk this trail, okay? And I want to walk these areas here, and I want to look for scrapes, rubs. I want to walk these windrows. I want to look for any type of food that deer is going to be feeding on. Looking for scrapes, rubs, whatever. The deer, as I'm making this video here, should be really getting close to the rut. They should already be in pre-rut. They should definitely be scraping, looking for chickens and does. They may not be quite breeding yet, but so you definitely want to be finding a lot of scrapes. If you find a lot of scrapes in one area, that's an area you want to be looking for a stand. Always remember the wind direction and things like that. I hope this video here helps you out. I'm going to do the video on the other property. This is a property a commenter had asked me about. I'm going to do the video on the other property, and hope it helps you out. But I really hope this helps you. I hope it gets you started. Main thing is look for these things. Look for high spots in the ground where deer can get away from the water when you have a lot of rain and things like that. Look for wind blocking areas. Areas that deer can get away from the wind, the cold, because it's brutally cold on them. Look for the funnel areas, okay? Look for the, like I said, the windrows. There's many of them, more than it's on here that I'm showing, but there's many of them. Look for them kind of areas. Look for high spots in the ground, and that should get you a good start on this property. Always remember scrapes, rubs, and look for anywhere where deer is embedding. Now, once you get snow, okay, the deer will act different when it's regular, but once you get snow, you can get in here and look where these deer are really piling up by where they really work the snow down, okay? And then as you know that there's snow coming or brutal weather coming, you know where the deer goes when it's brutally cold, okay? So that's just scouting this area and really getting in there and looking at these certain key points. I think will really help you out. I appreciate you asking me to look over it, and I hope this will help you. And I think it'll give you some ideas and some direction to start going and looking for certain things. Appreciate you, and hope you enjoyed the video. For more information on deer hunting, check out deerhuntingschool.com. Thank you. Bye.